Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council.
Jonesboro's community radio station. Your life, your music. KLEK 102.5 FM.
Good Monday morning, Jonesboro. This is meteorologist Tim Root with your KLEK 102.5 forecast. Mostly sunny skies today. High temperatures will range from the upper 50s to low 60s. Light north winds. Mostly clear, 35 to 42 tonight. Very light winds in the forecast. Tuesday, mostly sunny in the low 60s. Christmas Eve, Tuesday night, mostly clear skies around 40. And partly to mostly sunny Wednesday, Christmas Day, highs in the low 60s. Jonesboro, that's your KLEK 102.5 FM weather.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Benji Hire. Deadly wildfires in Australia are expected to continue for several months. There are around 200 fires still burning in 4 states. 9 people have been killed so far and around 900 homes have been destroyed. Turkish and Syrian delegates will visit Moscow on Monday as a Russian-Syrian offensive near Idlib continues to drive refugees towards Turkey. And French President Emmanuel Macron has announced he won't claim his presidential pension.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday to you. I hope that you're having a great start to your day. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Kabila Jones. And my special guest today, I'm sorry. Okay. My special guest today is Mrs. Shunquetta Cunningham, and joining her is her husband. Oh, please remind me of your name, sir.
Sanford Cunningham.
Sanford. Nice to have you in the studio today, one of JPD's finest. All right, so we're going to get started with our conversation. The first part of the conversation is going to center around the nonprofit summit. The nonprofit summit and Over a Cup, which is coming up this Saturday. And so I'm going to stop fiddling here and turn this around and let Ms. Shunquetta take it away. Everyone should know her by now. She's with KHARIS Grants and Services. She really strives hard to work with the nonprofits around, not just in Jonesboro, but around NEA or just anywhere. Anybody needs some help. So go ahead and take it away. I feel like I'm rambling.
Oh, no, you're fine. Good morning, everyone. So, the first event I would like to talk about is coming up on this Saturday at 9 a.m. For Over a Cup. And we've mentioned it before, but Over a Cup, it's the only networking group here in the city of Jonesboro for African-American women entrepreneurs and even those who desire to start up a business. I was given, I guess, the assignment to start Over a Cup in January 2017, so I am thankful that we are continuing to go strong, and it's just about creating a safe space for us to talk about building our businesses and truly building businesses. I know a lot of things that we do start out with can be sometimes we term as hustles or just little things we tinker in, but this group is really for being intentional about building businesses and then networking with one another and then dispelling the myth that African American women cannot come together in unity and support for a cause. I've said this quite frequently that hasn't kind of been my norm. I've always been supported by great black women, and so Over a Cup this Saturday 9 a.m. at the Craighead Public Library.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and so unfortunately I haven't been able to make it to any meetings just due to transportation and other issues, but I've heard really great things about your sessions, and a lot of women have, really raved about how it was such an enriching experience for them. So give us some feedback of what you've heard, from one-on-one or just in the group sessions.
Oh, definitely. Typically, we will have a topic of conversation, whether that's about marketing, finding capital, talking about how to engage with our clients, And then more than likely, we will always get to a prayer moment and some tears because it's real. One of the things I'm thankful for that it's a group of God-centered women as well.
Okay.
And that just makes the difference. We've had special guests. In fact, on this Saturday, we will have Miss Latasha Wakefield Robinson.
Okay.
She is certified through the state of Arkansas with the Small Business Economic Development Center. She provides the training for your business to become certified as a minority-owned business with the state of Arkansas, which increases your chances of getting contracts with the government. And also creates a broader exposure for your business because they put it on their website because your business has been vetted. And so she's going to come this Saturday and speak about that process and then how we can become, get that certification to become a small business women, certified enterprise. I forgot the name of it. Let me look that up so I can get that right. But anyways, it is a certification. And that way it increases your chances of working with the government, and which is, again, kind of like an untapped resource for a lot of black businesses here. And you'll be surprised how many people have, outside of black businesses, have contracts with the state. I mean, to do workshops, to provide tissue, to, laundry services. But this is a great way to increase your chances of getting some of that, those clients by getting the certification. And so she's going to come this Saturday, 9 a.m., public library.
I never thought about that. And do you feel that a lot of small businesses miss out on those potential top dollars because they just don't have this information and they don't know how to access it?
Information is everything. I know I get calls all the time because, of course, a lot of people know the other side of what I do is grants. And so people call me, well, I want to open up a lawn business. I need funding to buy all the equipment. I tell people, if the government sponsors 100% of your startup business, is it really your business? It's not. The thing is, the key is access to information, not necessarily the money side. That comes when you get the information. And so that's, again, why I think it's key that creating over a cup, that's the intentionality of this. It's the access to information and then the resources. After that, I'm learning now that money is the lowest form of currency because if you get the information, the other opportunities will arise from that because you'll know how to utilize it. I'm learning that though.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because at first I just chased a lot of clients so I can get a lot of money. I mean, seriously, you do that and then you realize that it doesn't last long.
Okay. Awesome. I want to say good morning to Miss Alicia Thomas, Patrick Hilson, and
hi, sister.
And she says, "Hey, sis and bro." Thank you all for checking in, and everyone else out there that's listening and watching. I hope again that you make plans 9 a.m. Saturday morning to go to the public library to see Miss Shunquetta and her special guest, and for Over a Cup. For it's a group of ladies that get together. And one thing we talked about in previous interviews is that some of the women either were reluctant to come because they felt like they weren't in a position. That's always been my thought process. Like, well, I'm not in a position, blah, 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 blah. But no, it's like once you get there, you meet other women who are going through some of the same things.
Same things.
Okay, this is what I never knew I needed until I got here. Type of deal.
The same things. It's not about bragging about what you have. It's really kind of being able to be vulnerable in a safe space to share what we lack or what we're not, what we need strengthened in. That's a good thing because I tell people I do not know it all. I promise I do not. I am learning so much, and then every time you learn something, and then you have to adapt and change. And so, but the other women, like we have realtors and poets and authors and daycare owners. Like, it's just a group of women, and everyone has their own level of expertise. And so there are a lot of times, really, I'm just there to be a facilitator. And, the conversations just start flowing and, and going. And so, and we're all strengthened by that conversation. And so I look forward to it. Oh my word. I absolutely look forward to our conversations every month.
Well, in 2020, I'm putting on my calendar, I am going to make more of an effort. You know, I may be a little late, but I'm going to attend some meetings because the things I'm trying to do in my life, I know that I need the support and networking of other women that are already doing something similar, or just, you know, that can help give me guidance.
Yeah, it's about relationships. As you are growing into your prospective careers or entrepreneurship endeavors, you realize quickly that no one can get anywhere alone. Mm-hmm. It's just impossible. And then also you learn the values of, I think, loyalty as well. Sometimes we're chasing other people to validate us in our businesses and support us. And then you realize it's everything that you need. I'm a firm believer that you can bloom where you're planted. And so everything that you need could be right there in that area. And that's what Over a Cup is. We are here to talk about each other's events. And then here's another thing, too. We're also real that there are some businesses and stuff that I have not patronized, and some businesses where some people haven't patronized my business. Doesn't mean that everyone you're going to come and then it means, okay, well, everyone is going to patronize my service. Because if there's not a need that fits into their life, then, you know, that doesn't happen. I'd like to be realistic, because sometimes people can kind of get that misconstrued, like, well, I can come and then everyone is going to, you know, want to buy my things. And it's like, hey, if you're selling things for cats, then that doesn't, you know, I can share about your business, but I don't own a cat, don't want to. And so I think that's the other side to that too, as well, that you do get great leads and you can get some clientele. Like I've been working with 2 women, 2 different things in the group just for personal projects. But then also, again, it's a resource, because we have to be able to speak each other's names. And so I can be out, and if I know that someone's looking for a house, I'm like, yeah, I know a realtor. I know Sonia Sanders or Kansas Brooks. They're a part of the group. And so that's what we have to do. It's also more so the outside that's important as well. Okay.
I'm going to make this one come in. We're going to get into the nonprofit summit.
Yes.
Saturday, as you know, Kwanzaa's coming up right after Christmas. And
so
Saturday is actually, the principle is collective work and responsibility, which is Ujima, to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problem and solve them together. So Over a Cup fits right into that.
I'm gonna have to lead with that. And also, yeah, I'm gonna have to lead with that. And then what time is it? Is this Saturday or this next Saturday?
Also this Saturday, 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Okay, I gotta make sure we get there. We have to find some attire, because I know it's themed this year. Right?
This year is dashiki.
Yeah.
So you can wear whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you have some African attire, break that out.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to lead with that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So we're going to get in, kind of switch gears, but it still kind of falls a little under the same umbrella, which is the Nonprofit Summit.
Yes.
I had the pleasure of attending last year, and it was amazing. So I am looking forward to this year. So let's go ahead and get into date, time, location, and then what are some things you have planned for the people that are attending?
And, okay, I was trying to share the video. Okay. So the Nonprofit Summit is Friday, March 6th. 2020. That's so crazy. We're about to enter a whole new decade. And it will be at ASU, the Delta Center at on ASU's campus. And this is the 4th annual Nonprofit Summit. Again, this is the only nonprofit summit held in this region dedicated to nonprofit and community leaders. And the goal is to actually just bring information here. I'm thankful that I can get to go to Little Rock or different places to get information about nonprofit support, but most people cannot do that. Yes. And so I was like, hey, I want to see my clients in just the Northeast Arkansas region prosper, period. So I was like, why do we have to keep going there? I have to keep going there and then trying to shoot information through email, or it's like, you know what? I can do my own summit. And so we're here, 4th year, and it's going to be really great. This year we have some great things in store. We're really wanting nonprofits and nonprofit leaders to come again, information is everything.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I get calls literally daily. We need money, we need money, we need money. And then what really find out, you need strategy. You need better board members. You know, you need a better way to evaluate your programs. You need to know how to pick the right people on your staff. And so all of that is what we'll be discussing at the 2020 Nonprofit Summit, Friday, March 6th. And registration will open January 1st, 2020.
All right, so please register, because there are some other incentives. I am very blessed to be a part of, some of the planning.
Yay!
And, I'm getting more excited by the day, what's going to come about. And so I really hope that people take advantage of what you have to offer. Again, like you said, there's not a lot of this going on right in our area. And why should we have to travel? Jonesboro is just as big, and it's big enough to sustain and support, a program of this type, so an event of this type. So nonprofits, please come out. We cannot stress this enough.
It is. It is. And then, one of the things about it too, that's why I love to get great speakers, because sometimes you can become too familiar with people and what they offer. And so I tell people, I'm just one, and I have a small portion of speaking. And usually, because I want to ensure that other speakers get their full time, I quickly condense what I have to talk about, and that way the other speakers can really share information. It's truly about nonprofit leaders, about even if you are a volunteer, if you are a staff person with a nonprofit, if you just want to know how to engage more, this nonprofit summit is for you. It's not necessarily that you actually have to have founded a nonprofit or work every day with a nonprofit. It could be that you just want valuable information, because the thing about it, all of us need better strategies.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you can learn that, you can learn a great deal about that and find some nuggets. And so if you just want to be able to get out to, if you haven't been to workshops in a long time, you'd be surprised how many people have not been to a workshop, or a conference or the last time, or have even been at all. And it's like, you need information. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you need to get it from other people and outside your circle at times. Yes, and that's what this is, because we always have a diversified panel of guests. If you have something of value to add, then, I won't hesitate to have you. Okay. And so, yeah.
And I think this is really wonderful. One thing I'm learning in my classes that I'm taking, we have to continue with on the personal growth and development. Once you get your degree, once you get in your career field, you don't stop learning. You shouldn't stop learning.
Right.
And you shouldn't stop wanting to elevate your mindset and the way you do things and learn, because information is always changing, or the practices are changing to some degree.
Yeah.
And so you should want to be right along with the pack, with what's changing, or ahead of the pack. So these types of events are vital if you want to be successful and maintain your level of professionalism and where you are. You don't want someone else to come in and swoop in and take your spot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then too, is also just about being the highest level of your own self, the best level of you. And it's like in getting that type of information, of how to better yourself, better how you lead. Okay. I think that's also what's really crucial, because sometimes we can think leadership is about what makes us feel good and how we think things should go. And I am quickly learning that leadership is indeed servantship. That may not be a word, but I just ran with it.
You have to learn how to serve before you can lead.
But seriously though, it's all about being the servant, because I can have an idea in mind, and I do have a lot of ideas about the nonprofit summit, and then we get on the phone calls and we're having planning meeting, and then I'm asking what do you think of the topics we should cover, and then you all get great ideas. I didn't even think about it, and it's like a great leader said, you know what, hey, they have valuable, information or valuable contributions to the conversation, add that. And so I'm excited. We're going to talk about social media engagement. Because, that is so crucial now, because a lot of times people are getting highly upset that people don't share your information. And even though that is crucial, what I'm also learning, again, you'll hear from the social media expert that 9 times out of 10, your clientele is not your everyday people on social media. And so she's going to help us work through that, getting over, getting mad at people, getting frustrated at people. And it's like, it's not your clientele.
Yeah.
It's a great way to market and add value to what you're doing. And so we're just going to learn through that, because I think a lot of stuff we're getting a little sensitive about, to where we just don't know the strategy behind it. Yeah.
I read an interesting article. I don't know if I ran across it on Twitter. Twitter is a wonderful tool. Anyway,
I need to get on Twitter. I'm not
back,
on Twitter.
When the Popeyes chicken sandwich first,
Oh,
the craze
word.
first started,
Mhm.
there was a woman behind that, and she worked she was a social media strategist, or whatever the title was. And so basically her job was to scour social media, see what the buzz was. And it was basically what sparked it all. She replied to a tweet from like Chick-fil-A and sorry, I'm dropping all these names, need to send us some sponsorship. Anyway.
Okay.
She replied to a tweet, and it's like people took it and ran with it. You know how people take a hashtag or something and it caught fire, and it just spread. And so then that's how this craze about this sandwich and the buzz around, it takes people. Sometimes your organization needs someone that their only job is to sit at a computer, on the phone, whatever, and they scour the internet and see what's buzzing, what's trending, and what's
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And that goes with staying in the okay, we're coming up on a break. So and it just goes with staying with what's current.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
All the stuff we talked about at the summit. So, and we'll definitely recap the date, time, and location when we come back. But when we come back, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Another program that you're working on.
Yeah.
All right. So stay tuned to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back with Mrs. Shunquetta and Mr. Sanford Cunningham.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Thinking about calling it quits in your marriage? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Before you take the first step down that painful path, here are 3 truths to consider. First, remember your vows. You promise to have and to hold your spouse from this day forward for better or for worse. This commitment was meant to be for a lifetime. Second, remember what marriage is. It's not a conditional contract, but an unconditional covenant of love. The difference? A contract is all about what you get, but a covenant is all about what you give. Third, remember the purpose of marriage. Marriage isn't just about happiness, but about holiness. A holy union established by God and for God. Remember, your family first. Want to learn more about today's topic? Download my podcast at markmerrill.com.
Made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Guide-Right Jonesboro Kappa League, a non-profit organization that guides young men to a life of achievement. Kappa League Jonesboro on Facebook, Jonesboro_Kappa League on Instagram, and Jonesboro Kappa League at gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Dog Show. Up next, we have Satchmo. Satchmo is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right, a group known especially for their couch-snuggling, ball-chasing, face-licking, and, of course, companionship. Now, let's see him in action.
Look how he makes eye contact with his person.
That's actually known as the treat stare.
How intuitive, and now he appears to be excitedly turning in circles.
Ah, the happy dance so common with this group.
But really, the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Satchmo is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Jonesboro Coca-Cola is proud to support KLEK and its mission to serve Jonesboro and the surrounding area. From Jonesboro Coca-Cola, here's wishing all of KLEK listeners a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
The key to making this station even better could be parked in your driveway right now. Donate your old car to us, you'll get a tax deduction, and we'll tow it away for free.
Go to klekfm.org for more information.
Check out Melvin Williams of the Williams Brothers every Sunday morning from 5 to 7 a.m. here on KLEK for the Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, playing the very best in quartet and inspirational gospel music that you'll love, as well as feature interviews with all of your favorite gospel artists. It's Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, Sundays from 5 to 7 a.m. on KLEK 102.5 FM.
After the show, it's the after party then. After the show, it's the after party then.
Worldwide. DJ Suede, the after party. That's right, every Saturday night, right here on the #1 radio station in Jonesboro, Arkansas, KLEK 102.5 FM. It's the after party with DJ Suede.
Mix me up, DJ Suede.
Blazing hot. The after party. So Saturday nights, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., be prepared to hear the hottest hip-hop, R&B, throwbacks, classic jams, and slow jams. Live in the mix.
Yo.
The after party. DJ Suede.
Check it out.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Reba McEntire, and I wanted to talk to you about a serious problem right here in our own backyard. Did you know that there are nearly 16 million kids struggling with hunger in America? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food, engaging their communities in solving hunger and giving hope to hungry kids and their families. But they need your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with my special guests, Mr. Sanford and Mrs. Shunquetta Cunningham. And now we're going to switch gears just a little bit and talk about some marriage things. They have been married for 13 years. So Ms. Shunquetta and Mr. Sanford have something special they want to share. But first I want to say good morning to Ms. Regina Wilson. Thank you for checking in. Thank you to everyone
Regina.
Out there that's listening and watching. So go ahead and take it away, Ms. Shunquetta.
Okay, so my lovely husband, this is his first time on radio, so woohoo! Inserts like drum roll. But we're here and I only told him this morning, y'all, because I know him. He's very reserved, very quiet. And we've been married for 13 years. We are high school sweethearts. We have 5 beautiful children together. He's the daddy of all my baby's daddy. We also now serve together as reserve police officers. Yay. I told him I have his back, so now it's really official. Okay. Don't run up on him. I got him. And so we celebrate 13 years of marriage in September, and we just wanted to highlight over some things that we've learned over the past years. Well, really, 16 years of being together, but 13 years of marriage. And it's a journey indeed. And he's really been a great push for a project that I'll have coming out in January. Okay. Y'all stay tuned for that. I'll be back on KLEK, but people have been pushing me to compile this information in a book. So we're just going to give you some nuggets right now.
Okay. So take it away.
All right. Hello, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Well, of course, I'm always looking at my wife in amazement and the things that she do, and she's my push as well.
Oh, thank you, hon.
Well, the first thing that helped us out during this journey was I had to make sure that we put God first, first and foremost, that I had a solid foundation. So when I was praying to God that He'd lead me to a wife, that He actually sent me to the right woman, and that I just didn't get caught up in how beautiful that she was. So even with that said, once I did find her and we did get married, we started praying together. As well. You know, it's because you will need that prayer life in order to know which way and the things that you should do, so that because it's so many things going out in the world that you may get confused, views may get construed, but God would always keep you in the right path. And even when you can't hear God, that's not a scary thing. You just always have to be principle based in God. He will lead you through, and He will keep you focused.
Indeed. I love it. And so my next nugget is going back from went off of what he was saying about your marriage and keeping God first. I think another thing is, what is your mission for your marriage? And so my husband and I decided 13 years ago, we have this one word for us that leads our family and how we want to impact the world with our family structure. Because I think a lot of people forget that your family is, I don't want to say the word business, but I'm just trying to simplify it enough to where you can see it. You have a mission together as a family as well when you come together as a unit. So what is that mission to where there was a reason, it's not just to make babies. We made a lot of them for sure. Yeah, I don't know. We have 5, but it's beyond that we were purposed to walk together for this earth for a reason. And so I think praying on that and deciding what is it that you want to as a couple, what is it, how you want to leave an imprint on the world, and which is all, of course, for us is to glorify God. And so I think that's crucial as well.
Yes, indeed. Okay, and the next nugget, and even with your prior life, y'all will be led to a married couple, to be married to led to a married couple, because with marriage there will be some struggles in life. Okay. But one thing that I've learned, if you think about the different seasons and how seasons comes in, it seems like there's a bad storm at the beginning before that season comes. And so once you get led to that married couple, they will teach you how to embrace and handle that season, because all struggles aren't bad.
That is so true. All struggles are not bad.
So along the way, did you all meet quite a few, and I don't want to say older couples, but people who really have weathered, they shared with you how they really weathered the storm.
Oh yes. Our Bishop Brian and Lady Sandra Oden, and we had the Jones family, the Harris family. We had a number of people. The Fitzgeralds, they were way in Alabama, but we were discussing this on the way here, that there were some people we just looked at as far as models, and saw how they moved as well. And sometimes you don't need a lot of verbals. It could be non-verbals that teaches you in a marriage. But yeah, we had people that literally imparted. I mean, when we were engaged, we could laugh on it now. Man, we were arguing every weekend. Had a big fight. Literally. Oh, and even the first year, it would just be something to come up. But then I could go to my corner. He can go to somebody else's corner. And here's another thing about the mentorship and getting couples. They value the unit. Yeah. So they didn't tell us individual things like, girl, do you, or like, it's another woman out there. We didn't have that in our marriage. We had people say, okay, you got it out now go home. My mom, and she was a big influence in our marriage, because she would tell me, like, okay, y'all okay, y'all must not be saying eye to eye. Oh, okay, but you're not staying here. Yeah. And you need that. Yeah. We had people tell us, okay, you can vent now, bye. Go home to your man. Go home to your woman. And so.
Wow. I think more couples need that. So I'm going to stop interjecting.
No, it's fine.
And which that's fine, because that brings up to the next nugget. With your couple that you find that help. Well, you need marriage mentors, then marriage counseling. Because you have to understand some things you just don't understand, especially early stages, even later stages of your marriage. And so it's always to keep something to help you continue to be focused. Okay. So
yeah, indeed. So we thank God. We have other couples too that were just so instrumental in our paths, and so we're just so thankful. Yes. The next, let me see. Okay, I'm pulling up yours. Mine is honesty. Okay. It took me a while to be as vulnerable to my husband as far as being open.
Okay.
because when you are outside in the world, I am indeed a type D. I'm very dominant, very type A, and it took me a while to kind of separate the two.
Okay.
And then one day I just had to come and be honest with my husband. It's like, I feel like I have to be strong everywhere. And then he was like, that's where you failed at. You don't have to. Well, not really failed, but that's kind of where you had it twisted.
Okay.
And so from that point, I just had to, I'm able to be 1,000% honest with him. He knows my vulnerabilities. I'm tough on the outside, and I continue to be that way, but at home.
She a little marshmallow at home.
Yes, she is.
I mean, I am. And even like the other night, I just woke up, I had a bad dream about a young person in our lives, and it bothered me, and he just reached over, and prayed for me. And, and after that, I was good. But, yeah, but you have to be honest and share that. Yeah, so.
I have a question I want to ask. I want to say good morning first, Miss Daphne Jones. Thank you for checking in.
They were one of our couples.
Okay.
The Jones, when we mentioned the Jones, that's,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned how he prayed for you when you had a bad dream. What do you do, or how do you respond if you're going through something that's deep and, you don't know how to put into words, and you need your spouse, and you tell them you're at your vulnerable moment, and you say, I don't want to say suicidal thoughts, or just you have self-harming thoughts. I mean, and your spouse says, oh, okay. Like, how do you react to that? How do you handle that?
And this is where being faith-based.
Okay.
Because for me, when there's something going on, she really only have to come to me, because I'm already prayed up enough to know that there's something going on. Then I start praying against that. So we're one truly indeed. That's why you have to be led to the person that you need to be with.
Okay, so. I need some tissue. Go ahead. I'm about to have a whole meltdown over here. I'm not even married yet, or don't even have potential, but I'm taking notes. Okay.
Amen. I mean, that's it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. Or just even on the other side today, there could be something going on with him at work, and he'll call, and he's like, he literally say, babe, I need you to pray. I need you to go to war. And he knows that's it. Like,
Awesome. Even with speaking of that, and this is some advice I actually got from Elder James Jones, and he actually told me this about Miss Daphne. He said, you know what, I knew she was a woman for me, because if there was 10 men outside ready to fight me, she'll be there throwing the first punch. And that is my wife indeed.
Listen. Now I got you too on all levels.
Okay, they carry a badge and a gun. Y'all better not
listen. We here.
We are.
Good morning, Miss Patricia. Thank you for checking in. All right, y'all, we're gonna move on.
Okay. And the next nugget would be, this is advice that I got from my bishop and Lady Olden, and they both looked at myself and her and told us to love the things that she loved, and she loved the things that I love. And one of the great examples of that is this morning.
Bust me out, dude.
How she drag you to the radio station.
But and that's true though, and it helps pull the potential out of you.
Okay.
Because right now I wouldn't have been here, would have hated that I didn't do it, but right now at this moment I'm loving that I did do it.
All right.
So.
And then you can share this moment. You go home on the ride home and share with the babies how this day went. Yes, I love it.
All them babies.
Hey, Adrian, how you doing? And Miss Patricia says, hey, sis and brother-in-law.
Hey, that's my little sis.
All right, next nugget.
The next nugget is we're going back to actually what he said earlier about being prayed up, but it's paying attention to your partner. I think sometimes we forget that we're individuals, and so there's going to be a lot of growth. I mean, so I've had 5 babies. After each baby, there's something people don't realize you're giving life, and so there's a lot of going out of you, a lot. And so, but with that comes a whole nother level of changes, whether it's hormonal and chemical, and just as you're feeling as a woman. And so one thing I value about him is that he's allowed me that space to grow in those areas, or to have those moments to say, listen, I'm just not 100% right now. And so paying attention. But even with him, I know that there's something going wrong with him, and I can speak to that. And sometimes you can act on it or meet the need. That's what I'd say. Okay. So there's a lot of things that we both do for each other in anticipation. Like, he may not want to talk about it right now, or I don't want to talk about it, but just meeting the need. And that's crucial. That's why it's so good to know and understand. Study. We study everything else. It's good to study your partner as well, their mannerisms, their character. So when things happen, you'll know that it's not them per se. It could be just a season or moment that they're going through. And I think, like I said, knowing your partner is crucial for a marriage.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to wait on that book. Wait on that book.
Yeah.
All right.
And the next nugget will be, don't forget to date. And I've gotten better on this. And to be honest, I had to set alarm in my calendar, because every Friday at 5:00, sometime I work later, so we'll catch it on Saturday. But we are dating, because one thing that you have to do is make sure your mate know you still want them. It's more than just say, baby, I love you, I want you. But you chase after them just as well as you just first met them. Make them feel just as important, just as beautiful, just as wanted as the very first time. And you cannot forget this, because, well, in a later date, we'll talk about, the chase. We're going to call it the chase. But that you have to make
something.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But I always make sure they know that they're wanted, and things will even open up on a more mature level.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. Well, let me ask you this: because of my faith, I feel that yes, I should make myself present and position myself for the man to notice me, but at the same time, I feel the man should make the first, I don't say the first move in essence, but from a biblical standpoint, should a woman allow the man to say, approach? I don't know, kind of going back to the Boaz and Naomi.
Yeah.
Is it
Ruth.
Yeah.
And see, even if you look at the story, she positioned herself. Boaz came to, into the kindred so that he could be able to approach her. So I think you should position yourself. The man will speak to you first, because that's order. And you always have to keep it in order, because God is about order no matter what.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You are fine. I think that's the key thing, positioning yourself. And that means, I think that's the self-development.
Okay.
I think it's not a bad thing for a woman to be working on her own things and moving in her own space, because at the end of the day, when we all stand before God, marriage will be an accountability, and this will be a check, one of the checklists of like, how did you steward your marriage and stuff. But you're not going to be standing there with your spouse, so you should definitely self-development is crucial in that. But I think I like that word, the positioning. Okay. Making yourself, available. Hey, I am a wife, because the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. It's not like a girlfriend in training or a wife in training. It means a woman that already embodies the character and the nature of what it is to be a wife. And so I think that's crucial as well. But that's a whole nother, probably an hour-long conversation.
Well, Miss Patricia says you better say that, brother, and Alicia says yes. So we got some agreements going on. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Shunquetta.
The next one is just about piggybacking off of, not piggybacking, but we're talking about all them babies. I would say that. But one of the things about it, we have 5 children, and the next nugget is just to expand your family. How God allows you to expand your family. We've heard it so many times. So like, y'all have another baby? Y'all have another baby? Or people don't get as excited, but it's like, well, first, we don't care. I don't personally. We want to do how we want to. But if you limit yourself based on now, if your grace is only for 1 or 2 children, that's your grace. But you should limit your speaking on somebody else's decisions about their marriage. And so one of ours is we knew we wanted a large family, so we have 5 children. So to the young couples out there, people's like, when you get your boy and your girl, that's all you can stop. If that's not your desire, don't listen to them, because nobody's taking care of those babies. Nobody's staying up, paying doctor bills, and going to school plays. And so at the end of the day, have the children, expand your family, whether that's through adoption, or however you need to, your vision for your marriage. Do that and limit the conversation of other people in your marriage when making those decisions.
And we're going to get ready for a break about 1.5 minutes, so I don't want to get too deep into another nugget just yet. How many more do y'all have?
Just one.
Oh, how many I have? 2.
Okay, we save those for the other side of the break, because I want to make sure we don't get cut off. I want to say good morning to Yesenia Hernandez and Mr. David Nunez for checking in. I did have a few questions. We could try to catch these on the other side after you finish your other nuggets, but these are things to ponder. Knowing when to say when. You're in a marriage 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. When to say when, if that's the will of God. Also, should you still perform your duties even though you're kind of in a spat? You're like, I don't really like you right now, but I'm still going to cook this meal for you. Like, should you still, or should you wait till your emotions are more loving? Like, me and my ex used to have a conversation, and he didn't want me to cook for him when I was mad because he said it just didn't taste the same. So, I don't know. So, we'll get into that when we come back from our break. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with Mr. Sanford and Mrs. Shunquetta Cunningham. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Money may be leaking from your budget thanks to a practice called drip pricing, which the U.S. Federal Trade Commission defines as a pricing technique in which firms advertise only part of a product's price and reveal other charges later as the customer goes through the buying process. Here are some tips from the National Foundation for Credit Counseling and the Better Business Bureau on how to fight back against drip pricing. First, educate yourself. Know the difference between estimated price and actual price. Call to confirm the price of whatever you are purchasing. If calling a hotel, ask specifically about any resort fees. Don't be afraid to boycott companies. Tell those that practice drip pricing that you plan to discontinue doing business with them and that you will let others know why. I'm out of time, but check with Money Matters tomorrow for more tips to fight drip pricing. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Guide Right Jonesboro Kappa League, a nonprofit organization that guides young men to a life of achievement. Kappa League Jonesboro on Facebook, Jonesboro_Kappa League on Instagram, and Jonesboro Kappa League at gmail.com.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
KLEK 102.5 FM would like to invite you to our annual Kwanzaa celebration to be held on December 28, 2019 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the ASU Pavilion. The theme for this year is Dashiki Day Party. Dashikis and African attire are not required to attend. Included in the celebration will be addresses and prayers from elders in the community, a presentation about the history of the dashiki, and a game for all to enjoy. Foxy's Fabulous Accessories will be the paparazzi vendor on site. A photographer and photo booth will also be present. We're asking for donations of children's socks, t-shirts, and underwear to be donated to a local organization that serves families and children. Thank you in advance. We look forward to fellowshipping with you. This event is free to the public.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
KLEK 102.5 FM salutes small businesses. Small businesses promote local character and success, keeping money in the local economy, local jobs, entrepreneurship, community well-being, and so much more. Contact us today to learn more on how your small business could be featured on KLEK for as little as $25 per month. Shout out to Always and Forever Pet Grooming, offering baths, nails, and haircuts for dogs and cats. 2929 South Caraway Road, Jonesboro, 870-520-0925.
Major key alert, don't ever play yourself. You want to get that paper to secure the bag? You better turn in that paper and get an A+.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
The key is to make it, so make it.
Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with my special guest, Mr. Sanford and Mrs. Shunquetta Cunningham. We're going to continue our conversation with the 13 Nuggets. They're celebrating 13 years of marriage back in September, and so I'm going to go ahead and continue so we don't run out of time. Go ahead, Mrs. Shunquetta.
Okay, so we had the questions before the break of
we
when.
can answer those after you get.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to
right.
make sure you get yours in.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. So the next one I have is that you appreciate what's unique about your marriage. Every marriage is different. Everyone, you have couples that love going out together. You have couples that can go on vacation 7 days apart from each other. You have couples that want to work out together all the time. That's, all they're focused on, and that's fine. But whatever is unique about your marriage, stay true to that. You cannot judge another person's marriage because, again, how a person is set up, their character, their personality, however they're joined together, it's unique for them. Okay. And so my thing is, whatever's true to your marriage, be unique in that. One of the things about it, I don't like being away from my family more than a day or so. Okay. And so I think that's as long as I've been away for the conference or something for like, a day and a half or two, and that's long enough for me. Okay. But that's good. I'm not stifled in any way because my husband understands the calling on my life as well as I understand the calling on his life. And so, but I don't have that desire. But don't think that a person is limited or anything by the decisions that they make. So stay true to your marriage.
Okay.
All right. This nugget here, and the guy that I got this from was Jim Holcomb. We was going through one of those the struggles, those seasons, bringing in weathers, and he looked at me. He told me, Sanford, go back, and I looked at all the CDs, DVDs, the photos that we had, and what he was trying to get me to do at this particular time. Just remember how happy we were in those moments. Remember how much that I love her, because with those struggles, that is not the whole summation of what your marriage is.
Oh, wow.
You have to always remember what is important to you. And even to this moment right now, I'm looking at it, I'm just remembering she is important to me.
Yeah,
and no matter what it is, that we will always be, no matter what. She's my everything.
I am not crying today.
Not crying. Thank you, my love.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
We have a comment from your mom.
Of course.
Good morning, Miss Carolyn Barnes. She says, I'm so proud of my daughter's son-in-law. I love this. This is so much inside information, and it is truly needed to be heard. Truly need to be heard. Sanford is a God-sent man.
He is indeed. And he is indeed. And I just want to but I do want to answer your question, so we can come back to this at a later date. But one of the things about the win, no, it was the other one. What was the other one about? Should you continue your duties?
Yeah, so.
And so, there again, going back to your marriage, I cook, I fix my husband's plate. I do not think that in any way that belittles me, because we serve each other. And in different spaces and different roles. And again, going back to what's unique to your marriage, so I do cook, I do fix his plate. Even when there are times I don't want to. Now, sometimes I may give a plate and just be like eat. Take it. But I don't stop serving him in that capacity. But as well, in the things that he does for me, we continue to do those things. Because again, like my husband, he said it best. Your struggles are not the summation of your marriage, but I don't stop things because I still love him. I may not like some of the things in that moment, but at the end of the day, I still love him. So I still serve him. I know sometimes when women can hear that word serve and submit, just go ballistic. But it's easy to do it for someone when you know that they've submitted themselves under a higher authority.
Okay, girl, you want to start preaching up in here. Do you feel that that's where some couples, and I hate to say go wrong, but kind of get lost on their journey through their marriages, that they get so caught up in that moment and we're angry, I don't want to do this and that, and then they make that space for the enemy to come in, whether it's a spiritual, it is always a spiritual enemy, but a spiritual enemy manifested in a physical form through person, job, like something, they get distracted and just like, now this gap is this big in your marriage. You said it best.
You have to leave no room at all. I think my husband's taught me that most because he loves hard. Okay. And he's taught me how to love truly, as far as what it means to be loyal. Okay. This is probably one of the most loyal men that you'll ever be. Not just because it's my husband. I'm talking about in every space that he is, whether it's job, whether it's friendship. He's a loyal man. And so those are some of the things that he's taught me more. Just how to, and then what's valuable. Wow. Family is so valuable to him. And so.
Okay, we got to bring y'all back to do a whole hour of marriage discussion. Right quick, good morning, Erica Styles. And Patricia says, did that develop over time, or has it always been that way? And give us some tips on how to do that with grace. We got a minute left, so.
That did develop over time. Yes. And we're still working on it, because we're not perfect. And even then, like we said in the beginning, find you someone that'll help you out with this. Be willing to put everything in it. Be willing, honestly, to your raising sometimes could hurt you in this area. Be willing to allow God to lead you in learning how to love your mate. Because you understand your mate needs to understand you, and let God lead you and put God first in everything that y'all do.
All right, we're going to pause it right there. Don't forget, Over a Cup this Saturday, Public Library, 9 a.m. Join Ms. Shunquetta and special guests and many other ladies for a discussion. 4th Annual Nonprofit Summit, March 6th. Get registered January the 1st. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much, Sanford Cunningham, for joining us today. Hope everyone has a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Thank you for supporting KLEK, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK